The podcast you are listening to of Holmberg's Morning Sickness is brought to you by my friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Trust me on this one. You've had barbecue before, but you haven't had it this good. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale, ericsfamilybbq.com.
When was the last time you had really good Texas-style barbecue? Eric's Family Barbecue, the way it's supposed to taste. Always delicious, never rushed, and prepared to perfection. Eric's Family Barbecue uses only 100% fresh meat, slowly smoked over mesquite wood until it's juicy and delicious. We all know their brisket is the best, but have you tried their pulled pork, pork ribs, or rib tips? Amazing, and their sides are all house-made. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Make the trip. You won't be sorry. Go to ericsfamilybbq.com for more information.
This man needs medical attention.
Holmberg's Morning Sickness.
The old method of treatment for a person in this condition was to throw him in jail.
It's thank you, silence the voice. Got an email from somebody that said, we got a letter from the school yesterday about this TikTok thing, John. And it basically says, please, if your kids know about it, talk to them, tell them it won't be tolerated. Penalties will be in place. And this person says, you think I haven't told my kid not to smack people in the ass for years?
Yeah.
This is like, you guys need to write a letter to say, oh, yeah, by the way, parents, if you haven't, remind your kids not to go smacking the teachers' asses. If that's
That's why it's so confusing.
Well, because it's not supposed to. It's gum in class. You take gum away, and all of a sudden you want gum. We're human nature. That never goes away. Hey, Brady, you can't have almonds in here anymore. Those are out. It's like, you're going to crave almonds now. That little bag you bring in, you can't have any more Four Locos, Brady. That's it.
I get
you
that.
You don't even want one.
But
And now
I think the difference between almonds and smacking in the butt.
Sure, there's a crime involved, but
yeah.
the point being, as small as that is, if it's taken away from you, all of a sudden
Still gotta tell 'em.
You turn into an American. You can't tell me what I can do whatever I want.
You want to be the rebel that gets to do it.
Yeah, you get to be the idiot. Youth, 15, 16-year-olds like, I can't tell who to do it. Well, it's just I'm a badass. I did it because they told me I can't. And a reminder, and I hope this happens. I hope there's no leniency from all you bedazzled pocket moms who doing this all on your own without any help, and all the dads that won't participate. I don't want you to stand in front of any, authority figure saying, he's 15, he doesn't understand. He's 17, he doesn't. Yeah, no, he's going to jail. My cop friend texted me and said, by the way, it's a felony called aggravated assault. So good luck, kids. Teachers, you have to be the ones that press charges against it. You can't be the ones lenient either.
Right.
No more. This is the time when your liberal, woke teaching public school bodies have to go a little bit red for red. Only this time, it's as Republicans. You have to be hard ass, I have no tolerance or empathy for your stupid kid Republican. You have to be tougher. Your bleeding heart is adorable and occasionally necessary. But you get smacked in the ass, no second chances. And you're good, yeah. Waste the police officer's time walking around school trying to stop kids from smacking. That's what we need. We've got cholos on the loose. We need the cops walking around schools.
Need to file a complaint.
Yeah. Ed O'Brien emails and says, when we were at Mesa Public Schools, the DARE officers came in and told us, literally said the words crack was like having 1,000 orgasms. And I, along with everyone else there, thought I need to get myself an orgasm and then some crack. Yeah, because that's a cell. Oh, yeah. My cousin, who was a massive drug addict. And I mean, to the degrees you can, like HBO had a character on there that did more drugs than him in the most despicable version of The Wire you can imagine. He was freebasing just about anything. He was a horrible addict and well into his 60s probably now. And I don't know where he is. Not allowed to talk to family. Burned all the bridges. I mean, he can talk, but everybody's like, just beware. You never know. 40-year drug addiction. Don't know how he's still alive.
Yikes.
He and because my parents were on the ball. When I was 12, cousin Martin came to stay with us for a little while as one of his many second chances came along. I got along with him great. I thought he was an amazing person. I still think he's pretty cool outside of this problem he's got that he can't shake, so you can't be around him. So I had two beds in my bedroom, single beds, and he told me, I'm like, why do you do it? Because he had a candle and a spoon on my nightstand. My parents didn't know. None of us knew. I'm like, why did you ever do the drugs? What is it? And he goes, dude, have you beat it yet? And I'm like, you don't want to tell anybody that. Like, you mean today? Of course. Yes, a lot. Because I'd started early. He goes, it's that, and it never stops. I'm like, what? And he goes, it's that feeling, and it never ends. And I'm like, so, and he said, and it's the second it's in you. And he goes, and it's the greatest, most euphoric feeling your body can have. It's the most amazing thing you can place your body in. Never do it, John. Like, I'm pretty sure I want to borrow some of those needles right now. That's a sell.
You don't want this Dewey.
You don't want this Dewey. It makes you feel amazing. But I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, it says sex has nothing on this stuff. And I'm like, well, that's horrifying to think of how great that. But then, again, he said, but it's also ruined my life. Like, every step of the way it's never as good as the last time, although still great. And now I can't function without it because when I'm not doing it,
you can be homeless and out on the streets. That's how powerful it is.
Right. Because if I don't have it, I feel like I'm dying. So the only thing I crave in life is Bronto. No, is this stuff. But the police officer telling the kids that it's crack is like 1,000 orgasms.
John, I don't know if you know Mrs. Good at Dobson, but I would have killed to have been able to slap that ass. She had a perfect pooper.
Mrs. Good. With an E on the end, if I remember right. I was too stupid to understand what a nice ass was in high school.
Oh,
I don't remember
Mary
teacher asses.
First for me.
Mary Richards from Mary Tyler Moore?
No, Richardson.
Oh. From WJM?
She wasn't a teacher.
Oh. No, I knew like girls had butts. I just didn't know. And I knew I liked them. And I knew what bad was.
Yep.
But I didn't know what. Like, I didn't ever look at a woman, like a grown teacher and think that's a thing. I don't know if something was wrong with me. I was a little off.
There's always
so I don't remember Mrs. Good's
teachers.
ass. Oh, there were hot teachers, but I never knew why. I never knew, like, they had to be cartoonish for me to think they were great, to be adults. But butts and stuff had to be
You've got
cartoonish. Like Kardashians, for me, when I was a teenager, would have been amazing. As an adult, I think they look like they're in diapers.
You got our amateur lawyers chiming in.
Okay.
Wait, hold up. Aggravated assault is not a felony. Get that right.
Okay. I don't know. He said that is a felony aggravated assault. That's one thing. Not an aggravated aggravated assault, not a felony. It's a felony aggravated assault. Right. So it is a felony.
Making it a felony.
Pretty big felony.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to stick the word felony in your crime. It's a felony.
Felonious is not the name of your buddy.
It could be. Depends on where you come from. Like in Southside Chicago, there are like tons of dudes with Felonious as a friend.
Did you see what Felonious did?
Yeah, I know. Felonious did it, man. His parents know. Your name Felonious. You're going to do something terrible. But the cops coming in telling you crack orgasms, that's good. But grabbing asses, that's the key. And you had the bathroom, what they call it, the daring licks or something like that.
Dirty lick challenge.
Devious licks, yeah. And licks is not.
That one's already come and gone, so that's why this one's going.
That's a 1920s word for stealing.
Next up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dave says when I was in school, my buddies and I would kick doors in on bathroom stalls when somebody was occupying it. Two of my friends were laughing and pointing at a stall, and I'm like, all right. And all I heard was a guy whistling. They mouthed the name of one of my friends. I'm like, yeah. And I back and kick the door open, and there's police officer friendly from the DARE program about to fall over the toilet pissing because I kicked the door into his back.
Oops. Run!
We met at the DARE assembly. I was sweating bullets. He knew it was me. He never found out. Yeah. The officer-friendly program is silly. So there you go. And if you got a kid that wants to... Oh, I did have this one, too. Scott Haynes, our funniest emailer listener, says, John, this whole smacking administrator on the ass challenge on TikTok is so yesterday. Haven't you heard the new one? Blow a 46-year-old fitness trainer who's under 5 feet 5 inches tall wearing a blue shirt. No charges. Yeah, that's exactly right, Scott. You know what? I'm wearing a blue shirt. It's blow a guy in a blue shirt day. I'm in a challenge. I can't fight it.
Prepared.
Oh, this is great. It's like a prank show. Oh, no. Blow a guy. Brady, your shirt's grayish blue.
Yeah, there's some blue in there.
Paisley. I'm not sure what we're looking at there.
Yeah, what kind of pattern is that?
You're in red. You're out of the challenge today. I like Scott Haynes. Blow a guy in a blue shirt challenge today. I think that's the way to go. If we're going to have challenges, let's have some good ones. Also, there's nothing I could do about it. And then I got this email, which I really liked. Says every time you bring up Dick's kid giving up baseball as a young left-handed person yesterday, it hurts because I'm lefty. And my parents never once pushed me to baseball. I played football. I played soccer from childhood through college. I love sports. I'm an athlete. You're telling me if my parents had given me a slight push towards baseball back in 94, as a lefty, I'd be slaying it today. Do me a favor. Put your dick in Toledo's milk for me this morning. Well, I'll do it again. He always gets that treatment. But, yeah. That's got to be brutal.
He had coaches that were players.
Yeah. You always bring it up. He was a former Chicago Cub. That
Will
was
Oman.
His head coach saying this kid's got something.
Yeah. Called him McNasty at 11 years old.
I don't have the thing. But imagine being left-handed and not knowing much about baseball, then hearing us say, if you're left-handed and you can do anything, you got a 10-year career.
Yep.
As a
That's
pitcher.
all Will Oman said. He goes, I got paid a lot of money to come in and face 2 guys.
Now you have to face 3.
Now you have to face 3.
That's it.
So your workload's increased by a third.
Yeah, you're
or half.
You still should be able to get some of that done. And at the very least, you get a cup of coffee, a couple trips up.
Right.
You got that on your resume.
All you need is 1 trip up. You get the full major league salary.
So
I excelled in baseball as a lefty. Put me at catcher. That's got a long-lasting career.
That was another thing that Alex tried to do.
Catchers.
He wanted to be a catcher, and I'm like, dude,
you're lefty.
Lefties aren't catchers. And he goes, why? It's just not a thing.
It's weird about banging into right-handed batters a lot of times.
All right, he caught like 4 games and decided he didn't want to do it. He wanted to pitch.
There's something strange about lefties. I think the ball tails away from second base. I think there's a lot of oddness that with the right-handed batter that they just can't seem to get out of each other's way if there's a steal.
Yeah.
Right-handed and left-handed batters, right-handed catchers, left-handed batters have an agreement.
And it's something
I don't know why they don't.
I know because you see both.
Yeah,
but
because there's lineups loaded with left-handed hitters. Loaded with left-handed hitters, and they have right-handed catchers.
Yeah, I don't know.
It might be the tail of the ball a little bit. That's a little factor.
There's a ton of different things in there, but make any sense. Sports are important, and you have to teach your kids when you see a little glimmer of hope that I don't know what I'd do if my kid said he wanted to be an influencer. Somebody told me the other day with my new shoe fascination that I got, this sneaker thing, dude, because I have been with other people I enjoy sneakers with. I will unbox for them because we joke like, like these, because I got some new Zion 1s and none of us had the Zions yet. And I got into this thing and got a pair and I took a picture of it and sent it. And he's like, we should do like middle-age unboxing things. And I'm like, no, I like my talent to be something. Like if I got famous
like that young kid that opens the toys or.
Oh yeah, unboxing is not a skill. And I get that it's lucrative. I don't have a passion for opening boxes and showing people what I have.
Thank God.
I like my talent to be a thing. Sorry. I like having some type of skill that makes it so nobody else can do what I do as easily because I can be replaced as a guy who opens boxes pretty easily. Right. I like to be one of those people that's like, well, if we lose him, something bad's going to happen. I like to be in that position. Like I've asserted myself as an independent individual who gives something to the machine. Nike made Zions. Little slave hands put these shoes together, and I'm opening the box. I'm the talent. I'm the one. All I did was slap down the $200 and wait for the Amazon guy to drop the box off. That's as far as I went. I don't have a specific eye for the shoe. It's and by the way, if you're interested, the Zion Jordans are pretty comfortable. A little dopey looking, but very cozy. As a fledgling sneakerhead.
All those new sneaker styles takes a while for them to kind of.
If you go on the Nike app,
cemented.
And I'm committed only to Nike now. If you go on
you're
their
not
app,
doing the sneaker app?
The stores, I do sneaker, but that's part of Nike. The stores' shoes are every piece of garbage they don't sell on the internet. Like all the stuff they sell at, like Foot Locker's got a pretty decent, and they've got a Nike store at Fashion Square. But everything you see at like a shoe store is the outlet store's worst nightmare. Like the outlet stores, like I don't think so. The outlet stores are absolute trash. The stuff they offer online,
but
totally different. Like quality.
As a parent, you go there and you get discounted real shoes.
I wouldn't spend any money. My kids would still be wearing Skips.
Exactly.
Spending any money on shoes, but yeah. So, somebody's like, you should unbox shoes on the internet, and I'm like, are you seriously saying that out loud? Dude, people would watch that. You could be entertaining. And I'm like, I don't want to. You wouldn't hear me be entertaining. Like, look, a box of shoes. Everybody watching, go get something, get a hobby, something. That's what people would love, is that you kind of be a jerk about it. I'm like, oh, that's worse.
And then have stacks of cash
Right.
in one of the shoe boxes.
Well, that's how people your age and my age see somebody opening something. It's like, oh, look what I have that you don't. But it's not that.
But I'm just telling you, like, if you look on the other, on the urban side of it, so it's the shoes, and then there's always cash.
Tell us about this urban side. You're going to say, I'm telling you. You are. I know. We're listening. We're very curious about where you're going to take this.
And I've often wanted to do that because I wanted to
be urban.
Yeah. I wanted a huge gold rope and
sure. Hey, I wanted that.
And
I just wasn't sure I could.
I want stacks of cash, but I would hide it. Like I was taught properly not to flaunt that. My dad still gets mad at me if I have like $3 in my center console in my car. Somebody's going to break your goddamn windows and you got cash laying all over. I'm like, it's $3. They don't know that.
You know what'll kind of change your mind on some of that bling, Brady? Go to Mo Money Pawn. Because guess who gets rid of all their bling?
Where most
there?
of it ends up.
It ends up there. So you get these giant chunk stuff, and it's great stuff, but it ends up there.
Is it? I might have to
once
go
again my gain.
They do. They do.
Yeah,
a lot,
again,
they
I'm
do
fine
a lot
with
of
that.
Stuff there.
Well, D-Sizzle, I hope that your new necklace works out for you. It's great.
I think I'm diving into World Star too much.
Yeah, the hip-hop videos will get you. You start feeling like you're part of it. You're really not.
There's something to be said for the discount, though, because I think Alex's first pair of skateboard shoes that I got him were Vanes.
Is that right?
I think so.
V-E-I-N-E-S or V-A-I-N-E-S?
V-A-N-E-S, I think is what it was.
Like weather vanes.
Like it was a kind of a hidden E. So
did it have like a little rooster on it with a Northwest
I tried to pass them off as Vans for him.
Oh, that's gold.
They crumbled a couple of weeks later. And so I was like, all right, I'll get you the goddamn Vans.
I'd unbox cruddy shoes.
Yeah, that's what you should do is all the knockoffs. Unbox. And now he got into it, and he's got a couple of Nike pairs that are knockoffs. Yeah. He's like, Dad, you can't tell. I'm like, well, you better be careful with them because they're going to come unglued when you're at school.
But by the way, sneakerheads can tell.
Oh, he can tell.
Like
but he says his idiot friends, they can't tell.
Like the weird sneaker people can tell. Like those aren't real.
They can tell in a second.
They're not? Like, no. I'm looking online. Those aren't real. Like why? Well, the little dip by the where the toes start is supposed to be a quarter-inch lower than it is on those, and that's how you know the Jordans are fake. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And also, you need a hobby. You need something else to do. Speaking of basketball shoes, Brady. You know how I feel about this WNBA. And they're in the midst of their playoffs. I, being a full bandwagon person who jumped right back on with the Suns last year, as a massive Suns fan of the 80s and 90s, waning in the early 2000s, and the Sarver years started, and I just quit on this team, admitting it fully and completely that whatever happened last in the bubble a year and a half ago brought me back to the Suns a little bit, and then last year completely I started paying attention, got right back to my old fandom. Bought season tickets. The season starts tomorrow. Preseason is tomorrow afternoon. Also tomorrow is the WNBA playoff game. Now, they've been crying and whining that they have had Disney on Ice and some concert by a band I've never heard of push them out of the Footprint Center, Talking Stick Arena, America West Airlines Center. They haven't had any home games at their home. They've been complaining, how come the Suns never have to move when there's another event, when their playoffs happen? I'm like, oh, because the sellout, you mean? And yeah.
And revenue. Money talks.
And money.
Yeah.
And so if something were to sell 50,000 tickets to that and you could cram it in there, the Suns would move. You know, if you could get $5,000 a seat for the entire arena on a night the Suns are there, the Suns would scooch over to like probably the Cardinal game or something like that, and they'd make something out of that.
I think they summed it up quicker than that. They said, listen, charity events get pushed back to paid events.
Exactly. So I paid full pull for every set of tickets that's on my list. Right? They say they throw in preseason, but it's part of the cost. Like, and you get the preseason games for this cost. I'm like, okay, it ain't cheap. I got good seats. I put them in there. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Suns-Lakers, preseason, meh.
How many preseason games are there?
Like 4 or 5. 3 at home, I think. 6 total. I think the season starts October 20th.
Gotcha.
I'm not too bothered by going or not going to the preseason, but it's your first preseason home game. For people like me, it'll be the first time I get to use my seats, get to see the new amenities, get to check out what I bought, like because I got access to some club. I got, that cost a ton of dough. So I got all this access. My buddy's halfsy with me. Stabbing's winning 50s. So we've got these seats. I text Mark and I'm like, I said, we'll go to the Suns game on Wednesday. Like, I don't know how long I'm going to last sitting down because I got a river rock in my ass. But I said, we'll wander around. We'll find out. It's a preseason game. No big deal. But we'll get there. We'll see what we're at. We'll get our routine going, right? He goes, you didn't hear. You didn't get the email. I'm like, well, the Suns have moved their game to 3 p.m. Wednesday so the Mercury can have a home game over here at the Footprint Center. And I said, hey, Mercury. I didn't say this to anybody other than a mirror. You realize you're the opening act, right? Cage the Elephant doesn't tell you to. We want better stage time. You don't get Wolfgang Van Halen sitting there barking at Guns N' Roses that he's never had the big stage for 2 hours because he hasn't earned it. And
are they hoping people stick around?
Look, they're calling it a double header.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant on the part of maybe people will straggle and it'll look like there's somebody at the Mercury game. You go play your games at a high school gym that you can fill and let us people spending $90 for a preseason game have the reasonable time that isn't 3 p.m. on a Wednesday. I know it's preseason, but they're like, the argument is garbage. The argument is, we don't even get a home game and the Suns would never be treated like this. Do they have any concept of what they are? Which is an also-ran that's not even really in a good race. Who cares that you idiots are 4-time world champions in a league no one cares about?
The product's been out there for a while.
6 years. No one cares. You play the 3 o'clock game, and we'll see if any of your fans stick around for real basketball after, even though it's preseason. That tells you how much the WNBA stinks. I'd rather go to the Suns' first preseason game than sit through a WNBA game. Ever. I want to see...
and not only it's a WNBA semifinal playoff game.
Who cares?
I know, but the levels preseason versus that.
Name the last champion. Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
I'll take the Aces for $100.
Okay, pretty good guess. They're a team. You know what? I'm going to give you points for naming a team. Name a team. So again,
the Sparks are no longer the LA Sparks. No,
they're there. Okay. Name a team. Brady, if we were playing name a team. You two have just knocked out 2. Did the Mercury win it last year? Maybe. Don't know. Bottom line is,
the Storm.
In the interest of diversity and equality, we again pander and make them feel like what they're doing is something. I never want to hear the words "it's a business" coming out of the mouths of any of the WNBA players again, like Diana Taurasi did when she went to Russia to get $1 million. And she was right to do it.
100% right.
Because she said, it's a business, I got to take care of myself. Well, guess what else is a business? The entire league. And the better one has a 7 o'clock start time that you guys just moved because you're babies. If you could stand on your own 2 feet, people would respect you. But you cry and whine the entire time like a bunch of chicks from a time we used to be able to say that. And you wrecked my day. And I paid. Look, here's my solution. If there's anybody from the Suns office listening, if it's Dean or anybody else, switch the ticket prices. If that's the marquee matchup,
right?
Charge the people going to the WNBA game $100 a seat, works. And charge me $15.
Because you basically, you can are that flexible that you can make it, but there's a lot of people that
nobody's going to be able to do it. And they're basically throwing it away because it's a preseason game, but they're taking my money.
You're charged.
You're charged. You're pre-charged for it. And it's mainly for that. So switch the prices. If we're switching it and we're saying, hey, it's all things equal, they get their court. Okay, you got it. All things equal, give us fans the WNBA prices since you're treating us like the second-class game of the day. Because there's nothing equal about whatever the hell's going on that floor starting at 7 o'clock
tomorrow.
Well,
you'll understand.
I don't understand.
I know.
If you told me that Steak 44 had great fillets, but today only the ladies get the fillets, you get a cube of steak served at lunch for the exact same price, and they're getting the fillets that are $150 for $10.50.
Right.
You can go yourselves. These are the types of things that I think women should stand up and not march about abortion, because that's just going to be a a mouthy topic forever. March on this kind of stuff. This is real. You're being embarrassed, women. This is the least advanced thing that is happening in female and feminism ever. Ever. You have to sit and pretend like you're being treated equally by the thing paying for you. It's like going to dinner with a girl who doesn't pay, and she says we went 50-50 in the end. I'm like, you didn't even bring your purse. Well, I was at the dinner. We had the same meal, so it's like I paid. No, it's not. You guys aren't participating. I want my price per ticket to drop down to WNBA prices if I got to go there at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Can't we ship the Mercury out to Glendale, or does Glendale not want them either?
Glendale doesn't want them. Could you imagine how few people would go if it was in Glendale?
My God.
If you made it West Side event? Not because of the West Side. It's just really far. Any East Valley lesbian cannot make that trip on the rig.
Yeah.
And you start looking at Scottsdale lesbians and North Phoenix, because that's where all the lesbians live. I don't know that Glendale has a massive lesbian population. It's mostly Central Phoenix. Probably some of those Gilbert housewives that don't like to talk about what they do when their husbands are at work, when they're just clam bacon all day. And then Scottsdale.
The student population.
Yeah, right. Chandler Gilbert kids.
Bust them in.
Oh, yeah. ASU. But none of them are making the trip all the way to Glendale. But if you had a decent product, fine. But how dare you send me a letter that says, say, guys, we're moving the game.
I know you paid full pull.
I know you paid full pull for a game. And we're just going to move it to a time that no one can make it. Not change the price of the ticket. Oh, by the way, with season tickets, the preseason is all included. You include it. It's one big fee. There's a price on the ticket. There's a price. You sell them. It still says tickets available. And you know what? I'm fine. I'm not complaining that I'm going broke on it. I just think it's the principle of it. If anybody wanted to go see that game tomorrow and walked up to the ticket window and said, I want a couple of seats down close, you think they're going to go, okay, those are $12 today because it's the matinee.
I wonder what the price would be.
Expensive, Brady.
Yeah.
And more than the WNBA is charging. And why? Say it with me, Phoenix. It is an absolute product. Buoyed by the men's league. Embarrassing to women's rights and femininity, and they just won't see it for what it is. I will bitch about the WNBA until the day I die. My last words, I hope, if I get an opportunity, Brady, after I'm eating all the pills from all this misery, pain, and nonsense, in about 5 years when I'm laying on that bed, and you come in and go, hey, buddy, it's been real. Brady, those are beautiful words. You're fifth on the list for the eulogies, by the way. I want you to tell everybody, through all the years I've been here, the only thing that matters in this life is that people know the WNBA sucks. I want those to be my last words.
John, I'd like to combine two of my favorite plans of yours.
Yeah.
Move the Mercury down to Tucson, and then let's give Tucson back to Mexico. Problems solved.
Then you make the WNBA international basketball. That's brilliant. Move the Mercury to Tucson. Move it to Tucson. More importantly, move it over to GCU or ASU where they can watch the games there. Nobody seems to care. We want the big stadium to look more empty. Why do you want to be in that big stadium for one of your playoff games? Isn't that more embarrassing that they have to put that black tarp up for the upper deck because you can't sell tickets?
Right.
Get in one of these smaller places. It looks better. And by the by, one of my cousins, Preston, sounds like he's Preston Myers is his name. Sounds like a very regal individual.
Just go get her.
I didn't know much about Preston, what's going on in his life. Just bought himself a professional basketball team in Lebanon, Indiana.
Nice.
I don't know what league it is.
What?
Yeah. He's not like, he cashed out on some cash he's got. He's not a ton. He's a big sports fan and decided to bring professional basketball to Lebanon, Indiana in a small pro league. And he's got all these European players and stuff that want to come break in here. It's like some DG league. You know what he named them? The Lebanon Leprechauns. He's catching some heat for that locally. But yeah, how about that? And I'm saying that because I would sooner fly to Lebanon, Indiana to watch my cousin's 8th level, there they are, Lebanon entrepreneur, purchase a semi-pro basketball team. The Leprechauns. I would sooner fly all the way to Indiana to watch one of his games than I would ever sit through a WNBA game.
They play a 24-game season in the basketball league.
That's right. The basketball league. I'm not real creative with it.
March to May, followed by a postseason.
Yeah. I was going to go to opening day.
Preston Myers.
I'm Preston Myers. Follow me, Betty Sullivan. We have a press conference here. Quiet down, Colin Robinson.
Basketball league features 50 teams.
Yeah, there's
Kokomo Bobcats with a K.
Yeah. I don't understand that. It's already alliteration. You don't need to dumb it down. Anyway, I'm more curious about this than any.
That's your boy?
WNBA. That's my man, Preston. He's sizable. He's a sizable individual.
He is. Good for him.
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe it. My aunt called me and told me about that. I'm like, that's awesome. Good for you. Preston Myers. A name that just breathes success, I say. Like, what happens if it fails? He goes, oh, got to try to fail. I'm like,
that's
nice,
the commissioner of the league there.
That lady?
Yep.
Of TBO, the basketball league. Yeah, good for him. So, yeah, he's going to work it out. He says if he sells out one game, he covers the salaries.
Shut up.
Yeah, but hey, that's hard to do.
Oh, my God.
Hey, look, you're not doing too well. You're not getting 6,000 seats out the door
where do
for
they play?
Leprechauns Bobcats. There's in
They
Indiana.
can't be a 6,000 seat
In
arena
Indiana.
Indiana's basketball fever.
I guess you're
They're
right.
high school. They're 4,000 and 5,000 seater for high school basketball. So, yeah, how about that? Pretty cool. Still better than the WNBA. So, Mercury, with your strut, that lady on the news last night, it's just not fair. They'd never do this to the Suns. You just show your ignorance when you say stuff like that. Of course they wouldn't do that to the Suns. Of course not. I got Ryan Reynolds, and I got an extra from a B movie. Guess who I'm bringing up on stage last? Ryan Reynolds. I'm building to the good big one.
Here's your home arena.
Rosenstiel Gymnasium. Home of the Leprechauns. That's a big high school.
All right, that is a sizable high
The
school
Leprechauns.
arena.
We're the Leprechauns. Questions? Why are we the Leprechauns? Because we're going to have lots of luck. Preston Myers said so. That's enough for questioning. I've had it with all of you. I hope he's a tyrant. Anyway, yeah, that's my cousin
Let's get some
Steve.
season tickets.
I was going to fly out there. March 18th is a Friday night. I was going to fly out and check out the first Leprechaun game. I don't know who they play. Hopefully it's the Kokomo Bobcats. I would have named them the Kit Kats and tried to get some sponsorship in that. We're the Kokomo Kit Kats. Delicious wafers surrounded by chocolate. Much like our team.
Why don't you go out to tryouts? You got the new hip. Tryouts are in November.
Not allowed to jump for like a year. I'm afraid right now. I tried running yesterday. Oh, that was hilarious. I have the cane, though. I'm running with the cane. Anyway.
I'm going to inquire about season tickets.
Well, I've lost focus. Mercury? See, listen to what you just said. I'm going to inquire about season tickets to Lebanon, Indiana basketball.
Right.
Have you ever even dreamt about going to the Mercury's website,
No.
let alone that? This is
Last
excitement.
time for this was the Montana Gold. That was a CBL team.
Incredible.
Awesome.
Stupid. So Mercury, Suns, I'm all for it. But I'm a fan, and let me speak for all the other fans when I speak just like your players. You got to remember, this is a business. Business decisions have to be made. I don't want to spend $85 for a preseason game at 3 in the afternoon. You moved it on me. If it started at 3, I'd have been under the understanding that I had to plan around that. You told me yesterday. So now I'm like, well, now nobody can go. And I can't sell those, even for $10. Lower the Mercury prices. And with the added...
Businessman special.
Yeah, now I've got these season tickets. I got to sit there and watch preseason basketball and a Mercury game. What am I? Did I lose a bet? Am I being punished by the law in Korea?
You're going to be surrounded by a bunch of fall break kids.
Yeah, that's what the Mercury drags in elementary school kids. I feel like I'm playing one of the Squid Games. This is torture. Anyway, we've got to start standing up to these things. Pro sports that'll just dick the fan left and right. It's dicking the fan. They've been doing it for years,
yeah.
but at a certain point, you're like, hey, I get it. I get that the Mercury want their... Oh, that's fine. Give it to them. Now switch the pricing and see how many people go to your game.
Oh, and by the way, we got a new ticket licensing fee.
Right. And we'll
if
also...
you want to get season tickets.
It would be a real huge eye-opener if you said, yeah, 7 o'clock prices are this. It's like matinees at the movies. You wouldn't go to the 12 o'clock one if they said, hey, your movie that you bought tickets for at 7 is now at 2 in the afternoon,
right,
and the price is the same.
Sorry, you just missed it.
You'd be like, hey, asshole. No, matinee pricing. I want to check for $85. at the very least, because that's what I figure the price. I don't even know what it is per game. It's more than that, but.
And when you buy the tickets, you got to pay it. I mean, they've had the money for a while. Right? When you buy
pay
it
in full.
It's like the contract. You're like, I'm going to pay you before the job's done.
Part of the deal was pay in full. I'll give you the parking pass and the extra.
Yep.
You pay it right now. I'm like, all right. I kicked him a fat check, rolled it over there, and said, that's good. I want this. So it was a reasonable deal. Under the idea that they weren't going to start moving games around for that absolute show Mercury team. I'm going to start marching. I think that's the only thing in life I'm passionate about enough to like grab picket signs and march. Like to go against the WNBA being a thing. I don't care about abortion.
He's gone, man. I
don't care about war. I don't have any political ties. The border confuses me completely because I think people should be allowed in, but they're doing it wrong. Sign the guest book. Like, how in the world did the border become a problem? Before we streamlined everything with computers and stuff, it seemed like we were doing all right with it.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
Like, Ellis Island was just pen and paper. There were mistakes.
Kept pretty good track.
But I think
you'd write down the wrong name every now and then.
You can still go back and, like, trace when your grandpa got here.
Yeah,
right. We got computers involved.
See his signature.
And streamlined it.
Or
and
his
it's been a nightmare. I don't know what the hell's going on down there. Sign the guest book. How come it's a 7-year process? Everybody keep following Kristen Sinema into bathrooms, too, because that's my favorite thing that's going on the last 24 hours.
Unbelievable.
Awesome. That's illegal, too, but hilarious. Harass Kristen Sinema. And don't do the TikTok challenge on her, because that's like some sort of federal felony. In jail forever.
That's bad.
It'd be like that shaman from January 6th. Anyway, Mercury, yeah, I still hate you, and I will beat that dead horse until you are no longer a thing. I want one of the Mercury on here to argue with me. I've offered to Suns executives, to Eddie Johnson. I'm like, give me one of the players. Don't give me Eddie Johnson, which is who they offered up. Give me one of the players. Because I'll tell you right now, they know I win this argument. Nobody really wants to have the mirror flipped on them. And they know that, okay, yes, you're rational. Eddie Johnson even caved in when they sent him to us twice to try to sell the Mercury. And at the last, he's right, yes, it's 50 years behind the NBA, but it's growing. I'm like, it will always be 50 years behind the NBA. They don't have an option, and it will never be a good product. So quit telling me it's so great, or even.
And the NBA went through a little.
They had a ratings
bubble.
lull, but they didn't. But look, the talent is always there. You'd lose to 8th grade All-Stars. And still my challenge of let me put an All-Star team from just Arizona together, and my team of 8th and 9th grade boys would beat the Phoenix Mercury. The last thing they'd want to see. Because there's dunking in the 9th grade. I would put a team together. I'd be Ted Lasso. I don't even know how to coach you guys. Raw skill.
We're going to win this.
Raw skill.
You know some basics.
Yeah, stay away from the giant. She looks like she's lanky. She might get in your way a couple of times. She can't dunk. Go at her. She'll foul you every time. You hear me? You got it, coach. God damn, you're in 9th grade? Okay. Right. I can't reach your high five, but get your ass out there and cry. Yeah, man, I'm going to dunk on her ass. Yes, you are, because she can't. So just that would be my coaching. All right, boys, huddle up. Let's go. Keep in mind at all times, none of them can touch the rim. All right, let's go. Let's get out there and kick their ass. The big one can't? No, it's like a real effort. It's like trying to get the spruce goose off the ground. She's got to start at half court and she can't just jump at it. You've got her 10 to 10 on dunks from the ground up. Oh, sorry. I've been wanting to rant about that since the letter arrived in my email. You understand.
Oh, I'd be pissed.
Yeah. It's like kids eat free. And then they send you a bill, and you're like, well, the kids' menu's on the thing. Well, not today. Well, your sign says kids eat free. Yeah, we made a choice to move that.
See the fine
we made a
print.
choice to move that. Should have gotten an email. Well, I don't want this now. And I know.
They're like, thanks for expressing yourself this morning. We'll see you at 3.
I'm going. I still want I want my burger. I love those hot dogs. I paid for it, so I'm kind of trapped. But, I would pick at that. If I had God damn it. If good old days of radio, we could get a couple 100,000 people down there to just pick at the Mercury to say, go away. I think we could do it. But the problem is their big brother would get mad because you're not allowed to say bad things about him. And then the Suns would be angry at us because they have to act mad about it. They don't want him around either. You think the Suns are happy about showing up at the arena at noon? No. None of the good players are going now anyway. It's 7:16. What do you got on the big board of musical treats over there?
All right.
Oh, boy.
The Action Ride Shop boys over there.
That was old man getting out of a chair.
That was a little bit.
I had a hip replaced, and I don't sound like that.
Southern Gilbert and Mesa, go over there and see them for anything that needs to go downhill.
Yes.
Either on a board or on wheels.
Or you invented something that you want to see. They'll help you with it.
They probably will.
There are people who do that.
I didn't know that there was a thing called a mountain skateboard.
Horrifying.
That has, yeah.
Yeah, I watched
a thing where I don't think I saw one person complete a ride on
the single wheel.
Not the one wheel. It's actually it's like a longboard, but it's got like mountain bike
big
tires
wheels on it.
I've seen
bigger.
I've seen they've got an electric one that a guy tried to climb one of the Trail 100 hills on.
Yeah,
and it kind of goes as he leans. It's like a Segway.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Tire on
one
it.
wheels. I've seen those. Yeah,
he didn't do well. He kept jumping off.
They have those if you want to give it a try.
Oh, they've got everything.
So we got Poison, Van Halen, Hot for Teacher for the challenge. Prodigy, Smack My Bitch Up for the challenge.
Yeah.
Spin the Black Circle. Nero Forte, Spinal Tap, Big Bottom for the challenge as well.
Akon and Eminem came over from my police officer friends.
There you go.
Smack that. I like Smack My Bitch Up for the TikTok challenge. I think that's it. Go get them, kids. I'm all for every one of you going to jail. Start the felonies today, Britt. Gilbert Christian has if you do
They're
it,
off.
You do it before. Crap. Well, starting next week then. If they do it before.
Off again.
Damn it, this school. When do they ever go? Whenever you return to school, kids.
In 2 weeks.
If you get 3 whacks in by noon, you're immune. You can't. You lose your. You can't catch COVID. You don't need a shot or a mask ever again.
It's HOF, man.
That's right. 3 before 12 o'clock. All the kids that are thinking about smacking asses in the new TikTok challenge, it doesn't just have to be an administrator at your school. You can wander through a title agency at a local business complex. You can go anywhere. Any woman in a business suit that gets a smack in the ass from one of you idiots on TikTok and you put it up there, do it. Well, throw your ass in jail. I mean, you'll be given a paid, and you'll be a TikTok influencer forever and ever.
Do you think there still will be one posted?
Now more than ever, because the news is paying attention, the internet's paying attention. Like there's letters going home. You met the kid in my school. His name DJ Lisicki. The second everybody said, "Hey, nobody's going to do this," he perked up like, "Oh, I'm doing it.
I'm the guy. Yeah, it was my calling."
Yeah, he probably didn't even think about it before it became so taboo. Letters went home to parents because he's one of those kids that didn't care. His parents probably beat him for nothing, so he didn't care.
I'll jump that teacher.
He basically was like, I'm getting beat when I go home anyway. I might as well earn it. I don't know if DJ got beat. I'm just using that as an example. Yeah. I like DJ. I don't know what happened to him, but he was that kid I was like, oof, you're trouble. Anyway, smack that lady up, I say. Or as Prodigy put it, smack my bitch up.
Big, red, and badass.
It's the natural way radio should be.
98.
You've been listening to Holmberg's Morning Sickness Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Eric'sFamilyBBQ.com.